Hello, welcome to this self-care for your lower back class. We'll be on the floor, starting on the floor today. You may need a brick or two. And primarily what we'll be doing with this is releasing some tensions in the lower back, as well as stretching the area, becoming aware of where maybe we hold the tension in order to try and release it. This may be something that you do ad hoc or on a regular basis, depending on your needs. Let's get started. Start on your back, feet flat and knees up towards the ceiling. And as you make your way to your mat, meaning that you are slowly leaving whatever has happened so far to you today or this week, you can allow it to slide to the side so that your awareness becomes centered on the mat itself and your body on the mat and your breath on the mat in your body. So as you inhale and as you exhale, perhaps you can notice the quality of your breath. Maybe you feel your breath is long or short, deep or shallow, maybe fast or slow. And as you continue breathing mindfully, allow the breath to help you identify those areas in your body that feel good, not so good, and perhaps bad, as the case may be today. It could be your lower back. So breath after breath as the back of the body releases against the mat. I'd like you to think about your feet now. Think about the big toe, the little toe, the inner heel, the outer heel on both feet. Do any of those points, whether it is on the left foot or the right foot, feel slightly off compared to the other part of your foot? For instance, you may only realize now that your right big toe mound is lifting up off the floor, therefore releasing your leg a little bit more out to the side, or that your knees tend to lean in towards one another because your weight is more prominent on the inside of the feet. And there's no right or wrong, of course, this is just the way you are here, but see whether you can perhaps lift the toes, lift the ball of the feet, big toe to little toe, and then release big toe mound, release little toe mound, lift your heels, release outer heel, release inner heel, and find that the feet spread evenly. And then here I'd like you to take one hand and place it underneath your lower back. So for some, it'll just be a sliding under the back easily because there's a gap there. There's quite a little prominent lower back tilt. For some, you need to roll over onto the side and slide the hand behind. I'd like you to be able to, well, it depends how much of a curve you have into your lower back, but you should certainly feel that you have the weight of the lower back onto the hand. Not necessarily comfortable, and now you might be feeling off kilt, but essential so that we can establish our pelvic tilt here. So as you inhale, you're going to lengthen the tailbone and squish your hand under your back. As you exhale, I'd like you to move away from the hand and plant the sitting bones and the top of the hips and the bottom cheeks on the floor. Again, inhale, lengthen the tailbone. Exhale, release. Take your other hand to your belly, so underneath the belly button and above the pubic bone. As you inhale and lengthen the tailbone and squish the hand, you will feel that top hand move as well. The pubic bone will lift. As you exhale, it will tilt back the other way. Now remove the hand that is under the back. Continue with those pelvic tilts. So inhale, lengthen the tailbone. Might feel quite weird because your hand is away now. As you exhale again, you might even feel the head sliding back and down. Now you can remove the hand that is on your belly, and let's take another 2 to 3 more pelvic tilt here. Those are helpful to bring neutral status into your hips and into your back. So you're very gently lengthening the tailbone and releasing. So you are moving your pelvis back and forth. When you're ready, you're going to take the right knee in towards the chest and then the left knee in towards the chest. Slide the hands behind the thighs and then gently hug those knees in. Take a few breaths, and every time you exhale, you might even be able to bring the knees in towards the chest a little bit more. And again. See whether you can place the hands on top of the shins now to apply gently a little bit more pressure, meaning that the thighs may reach more towards your belly and your ribs and your chest. And the more you squeeze in, the more the tailbone right at the bottom of the spine here will lift up and away from the floor. And then release the knees so that they're perhaps in line with the hips, so the feet are dangling. Have the hands to the top of the knees, and then you can take those pelvic tilts simply by moving the knees back and forth. And you're taking those a little bit more actively. Hug the knees once more gently, not all the way in, and then we'll start to take toes and heels and knees together and take some circles. So here you're massaging, you're going all around the lower back, around the hips, around the bottom. Some of you might even feel it, alongside, higher up into the middle back and the upper back. Let's change direction with the knees. So we're using gentle postures here at the time, the breath, to release our backs. And so from here, release the feet flat towards the floor, and perhaps taking the hands to the frontal hip bones, you can tap them, touch them, make sure that the hands are on them. You're going to inhale, lengthen the left leg gently, so it's only the heel now that just comes forward. As you exhale, you're going to slide that leg in. Inhale, lengthen. Your heel might stick a little bit to your mat, so perhaps just gliding. And you might feel as you do this that as you extend the legs, it's quite a lot of weight that is being taken forward. Take the belly in towards the spine, so you start engaging your core so that you can take that movement gently. And engaging the core is engagement of the front of the body, the side, the pelvic floor, the diaphragm and the back of the body crucially. Come back through towards the center. We're going to take this to the other side. Slide the right leg forward and back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, slide back. So really focus on the sensations. Notice if it feels similar on this side than it does on the other. Let's do a couple more. Well done. Allow now the feet to be separated and the knees to knock in towards one another. Take the hands to the side of the body here and just take a couple of breaths. Place your feet back under your knees, so your knees are about hip width apart. Press the feet down. Inhale, lengthen the tailbone. As you exhale, you're going to start to peel and float the thighs and the back up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, you stay. As you exhale, you release. So slowly releasing the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, and the buttocks. Let's do this twice more. So you inhale, you lengthen. You exhale, you press onto your feet so that your thighs, your pubic bone, your belly, your ribs will lift up. You inhale, you stay, taking the navel to the spine and those feet still pressing down to the floor evenly. As you exhale, imagine that you're releasing your spine as if it was a pearl necklace going back into a jewelry box. So very, very gently section of the spine after section of the spine down to the floor. Let's do this once more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, float up. Inhale, stay. Exhale, release. Good. From this, bring the feet slightly closer. Take the right shin across the left thigh. Take the arms out to the side. And you're going to come to the inside and the outside of your left foot. So you can roll from side to side gently at first. So you may start to feel this perhaps more into the waistline, into the lower back. Some of you will feel this in the hips, maybe particularly more into the right hip as you come to the left. And feel free to then make those movements a little bit bigger so that the knee and foot of the right leg might be coming closer towards the sides of your mat. Come back to the center, release the right foot flat. Let's take the left leg over and across. And again, so you gently come to the inside of the right foot and then the outside, inside, outside. Maybe now you take this movement a little bit longer, a little bit bigger, depending on how it feels. Identify where you're feeling this. Does it feel good? Remember, pain is not an indication of something right happening. So you want to come away if it's painful or you want to make the movement a little slower. Come back to the center. Release the foot. Now both feet flat to the floor. Take a couple of breaths. Let's take the knees in towards the chest. Slide the hands behind the thighs. Tuck the chin and take the forehead towards the knees as you exhale. Inhale. Head down, exhale, forehead towards the knees. Inhale, head down, exhale, forehead towards the knees. Inhale, head down, slide the hands to the top of the knees. Exhale, take the forehead towards the knees and then start to move the legs up and down so you start to roll. You can still have your hands behind the thighs if that's more helpful. Rolling onto your spine a few times will be fun. Maybe just my kind of fun. but also helps into that stretching of the spine. And you come back up, only to come to slide onto your hands and knees. Now, being into the hands and knees here, let's press the shins down. Let's have the hands, and wherever they feel comfortable, it could be a little bit further forward, a little bit closer in, or right under the shoulders. Pressing the top of the shins down, you're going to inhale, drop the belly, gaze up. Exhale around, crown of the head down and the tailbone down. So you're pushing into the floor with your shins and your hands. Again, inhale, look up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good, let's do another couple. Inhale up. Exhale down. Let's come back through towards the center here. Toes together. Sit back into your heels. Release the hands behind you. Take a couple of breaths here. Slide your hands forward. Keep low, so your bottom towards your heels. Then you're going to take both hands over towards the right. So you might start to feel a stretch on the left side of the body. Inhale the hands back through towards the center. Exhale, relax. Inhale, bring those arms over towards the left, so you might be stretching the right side of the body now. Take 3 breaths here. Inhale, gaze up. Come back through to the center. Exhale, release. Let's come back onto our hands and knees once more. This time, however, hands a little further forward, knees a little further back into what I like to call a wide table. And you're going to swing. So swing your bottom towards the right, then allow your body to come forward. Swing the hips towards the left and back. So you're taking wide circles with your pelvis. Now, if this is a little troublesome for your hands, nothing prevents you from having those hands into fists instead. And then let's reverse the direction over to the left, forward and back. One last time. Come back through to the center, knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. So here, let's come to our pelvic tilts. Rather than taking the whole rounding into the spine, we'll isolate by taking the lower back. So take one hand to your lower back, splay it wide so that your little finger is pointing towards your bottom and the thumb pointing towards the midline. The mid-back. From here, as you exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone. So you're rounding the lower back and the little finger goes down. As you inhale, the little finger goes up. So do this once more to get the idea of just moving and isolating the lower back rather than the upper back, as we would as well in our cat-cow. So come back, hand to the floor. Let's do this 5 times. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone down, so your gaze is in between your hands or a little further forward. Inhale, lift the tailbone up. Good, 4 more times. So you exhale, your tailbone goes down. Notice maybe what else in your body is also working. Good, 3 more. Keep the spine long, the rest of the spine long, from the mid-back up towards the cervical, so the back of the neck. 2. 1. And then from here, sit back, release your hands behind you, forehead to the floor, to the side. Breathe into the lower back and into your belly. 2 more breaths. Bring the hands to the side of the knees slowly and curl yourself back up. Bring your legs back down towards the front. Slide again onto your back. This time extend those legs forward. Take the arms overhead. And then you can actually here take the hands, interlace the hands and take the hands behind the head. Release the right elbow towards the right side of the body. So you're taking or stretching into the left side of the body here a little bit. Take the legs over towards the right so that you may have that stretch alongside the left side of the body. Some people might even be happy to cross the ankles one way or the other, left over right or right over left. As long as you may still feel the connection of the back of the hips down onto the floor, your buttocks there too. And this is a variation on our Bandhanasana, our posture of the banana. Got a banana with ears today in the shape of our elbows. And then you can release the legs, bring them gently back through towards the center. Lift your head gently with the hands, bring the head back through towards the center. Release just for a breath here so that you can bring yourself all centered back. Then bring the left elbow towards the side of the body and then walk those legs over to the left. Perhaps the left leg goes over the right, perhaps the right over the left, perhaps the legs just remain where they are so that it is comfortable in your back and you're still feeling somewhat of a stretch on the right side of the body. And then very gently bring those legs back through towards the center. Lift the head, bring it back through towards the center. Release the hands away from the back of the head. Bring those feet flat in towards the floor. Press onto those feet. Lift the pelvis, lengthen the tailbone, and bring the knees in towards the chest, rocking from side to side. Toes and heels and knees together. Bring the right hand to the outside of the left knee, the left arm to shoulder height, and then allow those legs to release to the floor. Now they could be high up or low down, whatever feels comfortable, so you may feel a twist into your spine. Some people may want to have a brick between the thighs or under the bottom knee to support a little bit more. Do what feels right. Maybe gaze over to the other side if that's comfortable as well. And if you feel that the issues in your back are more on one side than on the other, when you do those asymmetrical postures, so where you go to one side and then you have to do the other, linger on the side that is problematic a little bit longer. Bring the gaze and the knees back through towards the center. Perhaps remove the brick. You may or may not need it on the other side. Knees in towards the chest. Left hand to the outside of the right leg. Roll over onto the left. Maybe gaze over towards the right. Perhaps you use a block, a brick, or whatever feels comfortable for you. Bring the gaze to the center, the knees to the center. Hug them in towards the chest. Release the feet flat to the floor. Perhaps you'd like to remain with your feet flat, or maybe just extend the legs. Allow the feet to roll out. The hands to be placed alongside the body, or maybe on your belly. Take any last sort of wiggling around that you would like to take so that you are completely and utterly comfortable on the floor. Let's take a few breaths in our Shavasana here, just noticing maybe the energy going through our bodies. Moving from your right foot, imagine your breath coming over on the leg and across the body, the front of the body towards the left shoulder. The pause between the breath goes around the head, and as you exhale, it is from the right shoulder into the front of the body over towards the left foot. As you inhale again from the heel of the left foot into the back of the body, over and across the right shoulder. As there is a pause between the inhale and the exhale, the awareness moves over towards the back of the left shoulder, and the exhale comes across, diagonally across the body towards the right heel. So over the next couple of breaths, repeat that pattern of making like a little shape, a little half an infinity sign, if you like, or half a circle with little tails hanging out. So from the front of the body, right toes inhale over and across towards the left shoulder. Exhale from the right shoulder into the front of the body towards the left foot. Inhale again in the back of the body from the left foot over towards the right shoulder. Move across to the back of the left shoulder and out into the back of the body towards the right heel. You may continue to breathe just like this, in this pattern, or to come back to your natural breathing. When you feel ready to start to move the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles, take any movement that feels good to you. Perhaps again a hug, a roll, both. Eventually rolling over onto one side, curled up into a ball. Press the top hand down, bring yourself back up to a comfortable seated posture. Notice how your back feels right now. Let's take 3 breaths. Inhale, arms up. Exhale loudly through the mouth. Let's take one more breath. Release the thumbs to the forehead for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind actions. I salute you. Namaste.